Hey guys, welcome back to the series of Python programming. In the previous video, we have learned about some string methods, and in this video, we will learn about some lists in Python. So let's get started. So Python lists are ordered sequences that can hold a variety of object types, and they use square brackets and commas to separate the objects in the list. The notation will be like this: square braces of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And just like strings, lists also support indexing and slicing. Let's demonstrate with some examples. So I'll use Jupyter Notebook. Let's begin by defining a variable called mylist, and we will set it to the numbers square braces of 1, 2, 3. As you can see, we have created a list and it is defined by the square brackets separated with commas. And this is a list of integers, but we could also create a list of mixed object types. So that will be mylist is equal to square braces of, the first one will be string, so single quotes of hello, and the second one could be a integer, that is 2, and the third one could be the float value, that is 2.33. And if I run this, it has no problems. So Python lists are very flexible in data types they can hold. And if you want to check the length of the list, you can do that using the length function, that is len of mylist. And this returns back how many elements or items are in the list. So here we have 3 items, that is string hello and integer value 2 and float value 2.33. And now, similar to the strings, lists also have indexing and slicing methods. Let's see how. I'll create a list with numbers in word format. I'll say mylist is equal to square braces of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are all strings which we have in the list. So I want to grab 0 from the above list. I'll use the index of that element, which is 0. So mylist of 0. This gives me 0. And if I want to slice this list from 1 to 5, then mylist of, that is you have to use the square braces, and the start index, that is 1, and colon, and if we did not mention any stop value, it will go all the way to the end. And if I run this, I'll get the list from 1 to 5. And similar to the strings, we can also concatenate the strings. So we have a list from 0 to 5, and I'll create another list, that is another list is equal to square braces of string 6, string 7. And now I'll say mylist plus another list. This will return from 0 to 7. So notice here, we are not actually saving this list. The elements in the list will be same as before. And if you want to save the concatenated list, you can create a new variable or reassign to the previous variable. That is new list is equal to mylist plus another list. So those are the basics of the lists. We have done indexing, slicing and concatenations, and that's similar to the strings. So what's the difference between the list and string? The main thing is that we can actually mutate or change the value in the list. If you remember, when we are trying to change the letters in a string, it would not let us, whereas a list has no problem. So in the new list, we have 0 to 7. Let's go ahead and change one of these elements. Let's change 0 to be in all caps. What I could do is say new list of 0 is equal to 0 in all caps. And now if I look at this, I'll get 0 in uppercase letters, and the remaining will be unchanged. So that's the way you can actually mutate or change the elements that are already in the list. And that is something that differentiates it from a string. And we have some functions for the lists. The first one is append. So new list.append of 8. So this will add the element 8 at the last of the string. So we know how to add things onto a list. Let's talk about removing items from a list. To do that, we can use pop method. So pop is actually going to pop off an item from the end of the list. So we are going to say new list.pop, and if I run this, it will return back the last element from the list, that is 8. And if I check the list, it is no longer has the string 8 in it, and it goes up to string 7. Now, a common question that arises here is, hey, I don't want to remove something from the end, but I want to remove it at a specific index. For instance, I want to remove the 0 which is in uppercase letters at index 0. And for that, you can pass in an index position into pop. We can say new list.pop, and then just pass the index position of what we want to remove. So here in our case, the index position is 0. And if I run this, we can see that we have popped off 0 from the list. And if we see the new list, it will have 1, 2, 3 and so on. So pop basically removes items from the list at whatever location you provide. By default, the index position is -1, the very end of the list. Since the default is -1, that means pop function allows the reverse indexing method. So first, suppose I want to remove the second element from the list. So I can say new list.pop of -2. So this returns the 6. And if I check the new list, this will be from 1 to 5, and 6 will not be there, and 7 will be in the list. So there are few more methods that I want to discuss besides pop and append, which are going to be really common methods. They are sort and reverse. So I'll create a new list, that is new list is equal to square braces of 1, 4, 9, 2, 6, 3, 5. So a random unsorted list. So I want to sort this list. So I'll say new list dot sort. But this will not return any value, but it will change the original list. So I'll call the new list, and this will return the list in the sorted format. Not only for the numbers, it will also work for the alphabets. And there is one thing you should remember. The sort function is not returning anything, right? So even if I have assigned this to another variable, we will not be getting any output. So let's check it out. I'll say my sorted list is equal to new list.sort. And if I try to call this variable, it will not give anything. So you can actually check the type of the variable. So that will be type of my sorted list. And if we run this, it will return none type. So what none type is? It is used to indicate no value, and lot of times developers hold it as placeholder. So let's also discuss the reverse method of the list. The name itself defines the function. It's going to reverse everything in your list. So it will be new list dot reverse, and this function also does not return anything. And if I call this list, that is new list, it will return 9, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's it for now. Hope you guys like this video. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon for instant notifications from my channel. And I'll see you in the next video.